Good evening. We're going to call to order the Tuesday, March 11th discussion and budget workshop meeting. If you'd please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Macro, roll call.
Mr. Adams is not in attendance tonight. Dr. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Arendt?
Here.
Mr. Caligiuri?
Here.
Ms. Chudowitz?
Here.
Dr. Richardson?
Here.
Mr. Sokolsky?
Here.
Mrs. Stepnick?
Here.
Mr. Strotke?
Here.
And Student Representative Mr. Drew Thacker.
Here.
Thank you. The board met in executive session on March 11th, 2025 to discuss matters of litigation, safety, personnel, and real estate. We'll now move on to citizens' comments. Ms. Macro?
So if anybody would like to speak to the board, we ask that you step to the microphone one at a time at the podium, state your name, your residency within Plum. You will be provided 3 minutes to speak. We will put that timer up on the monitors next to you so that you can monitor your own time, but I will also give you a 30-second warning when your time is coming to a close. Just a reminder that this is a time to share your suggestions, ideas, or concerns as opposed to a question and answer session with the board. So you'll state your information whenever you're finished and your 3 minutes are up. Please step over to the clipboard at the end of the table and place your name on that clipboard so I spell it correctly in the minutes. If you would like to go ahead and start one at a time, please.
Would I be able to speak as an alumni on behalf of?
That would be up to the board president.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Would I be able to speak as an alumni? I'm currently a Hampton
I
resident.
think that's it. I'm not a Plum resident. Does anybody on the board have a problem with that?
I don't care, no.
It's up to you to say yes.
You're fine.
He's not legally
Yeah.
allowed, if you want to speak.
Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
My sister
I was gonna
was willing
let-
to speak for
I'm
me.
a
if you're
resident.
Oh, that's okay.
My sister speaks for me. So I'm-
Appreciate that. Thank you.
guys. Thanks. My name is Tim Wharton, and I live on 3824 Dolphin Drive in Hampton Township. I appreciate you permitting me to speak at my alma mater, Plum's class of 2001. I'm here tonight to show my love and support for Joe Ionta, an amazing teacher here at Plum, and maybe even more astounding track and cross country coach here at Plum. And possibly to take that a step further, an awe-inspiring man who transformed so many lives during our formative high school years here at Plum for decades. Coach I, as I will lovingly refer to him from here on out, passed away last week. His death has left an irreplaceable hole in the Plum community and well beyond. A growing number of Running Mustang alumni hopes that the board might acknowledge the loss of such an impactful person in our community and would like to propose an initiative to rename the high school track in his honor. Coach I was such an inspiration to so many people, and that can be seen quite literally in the number of students, athletes that he helped earn accomplishments. Over his years as coach, he helped over 80 boys and girls earn Whitfield medals with over 35 state qualifiers in track and field. On the cross-country side, he produced 15 state qualifiers along with an entire boys cross-country team that qualified in 2009. But to speak more to those accomplishments would be missing a significant chunk of what made him such a special, wonderful, and remembered human being. Coach I made everyone feel like family. He was our leader, a role model, a father figure, a therapist, a mentor. We were all children at that age, rebelling, but deep down seeking someone to look up to, and that's what you did with Coach. You looked up to him. You wanted him to be proud of you. Somehow he always managed to bring out the best in you. And don't get me wrong, he was a funny guy along the way, making all sorts of catchphrases and nicknames for us. Look at you, Wart, he could say to me in just the right tone to let me know whether I was doing something good or bad. And if I ever failed him, I wanted to fix something in myself. He made us all be the best versions of ourselves. Outside of school, Coach I was a deeply religious man, and you could see that in everything that he did. It's like a higher power was just shining through him. He wanted to make a 5K race to benefit leukemia research, and he did. He wanted to help Plum kids who were going through cancer, and he did. He wanted to start a scholarship for graduating running Mustangs, and he did. I know that I'm not a current resident of Plum, but I speak on behalf of so many Plum alumni, folks who now live in Hampton, North Hills, North Allegheny, folks who now live in Ohio, Arizona, California. We have all expanded our worlds, but so much of our formative years began here with Coach I as our leader and our mentor. When you joined his running Mustangs, you joined a family, and we are thousands of his children. My dad passed away when I was in high school, and Coach I took me under his wing, and he never, ever let me go. Coach I was one in a million, and Plum was lucky enough to have him, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim.
My name is Tony Mornello. I live at 561 Anderson. Thank you, Tim. That was very nice, very moving. I'm a proud graduate, 2004. Ran for Coach I for a number of years. Later on, I was able to come back and coach with him for a number of years as well. I'm kind of the opposite side of the spectrum with Tim as far as a student athlete is concerned. Tim graduated top of his class. He was valedictorian. I went here. Okay. I saw Ron Sikorski the other day in line, very long line at Coach I's funeral. He had a big smile on his face, gave me a big hug. He said, "Oh, I knew the bad kids were going to be here." And funny joke. I did appreciate that, Ron, but there is some truth to that.
It's Mr. S.
It is Mr. S, yes. Trying to be official here. The impact that he had is so great. I can't, in 3 minutes, there's just no way I could go through all the points and then love that I have for that man. It hurts me to talk up here in the past tense of him. I'm still recovering from the news of his loss that I may never recover. My senior year, I was able to finally get it together, finally come back and really focus on my grades, focus on school. I'm not going to talk about my athletic accomplishments at all because it's redundant. Just being able to graduate high school and attend college, I later went to University of California, Pennsylvania, got my bachelor's, went back, got my master's, went and got a second master's, all high honors. I put 100% of that as great of teachers as I had, great of mentors I had in this district, and there were a lot of them. Coach I, no one compares to Coach I and the influence he had. There's so many stories I could tell you, personal stories, things that he's done for me as a student, as an athlete, and far beyond. I'm pushing 40 years old, and there just wasn't a day I still wasn't his kid, wasn't his athlete. And I'm only one of many. I hope
30.
I hope that, as Tim said, that you take the initiative to honor him in a way that he deserves to be honored. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lynn Wozniak. I graduated in '02. I was a former running Mustang, and going into my senior year, I played soccer my entire life, and I made the drastic decision to quit soccer entirely and run cross country. I was embraced by Coach I and in that family, because that's what it was a family. I'm sorry. And he encouraged me, and pushed me, and made me part of who I am. And lots of times, as I told my mom today, I spent more time with Coach I than I did my own family, because we were here 2.5 hours after school every single day. And he was a dad, he was a friend, and he was a therapist, and an all-around awesome guy. And just to kind of reverberate what Tim and Tom said, and that he awesomely deserves any accolade that you guys choose to give him. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jen Corson. I live at 520 Stone Edge Court. We are here representing Plum Cheerleading. As I'm sure you all know, at the end of our season, we lost 4 of our 6 coaches, one of which being the head coach. As I feel that this is definitely something that needs addressed due to the events that occurred to make 4 of them resign. This is a conversation I feel for another day. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about a new head coach for us. We have approximately 100 student athletes in the district right now that we're expecting to have tryouts this week. That was canceled. We've missed out on open gyms. They help prepare our girls to try out. The longer we wait to have a head coach, the longer that's get pushed back, the less likelihood that they have of being prepared for having successful tryouts. The longer that this also gets pushed back, this also decreases the likelihood of them being able to attend a master's camp over the summer, where not only they bond as a program, but they learn many of the skills necessary to be successful both on the field and on the mat. So I know as a board you've heard a lot in the last week or so from all of us, all of the parents, all of the girls, mostly the parents, but we all felt that, being that the girls are the ones that are most impacted by this and are actually feeling the loss from this, that they are the ones that should be talking to you about what they're going through, what their feelings are, and what their hopes are for a head coach for a future. So thank you. I'm gonna turn this over.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Taylor Nisley. I'm a senior this year and I live at 107 Cherrywood Drive. I'm here to speak on behalf of Morgan Lowenadler for position of Plum High School's cheerleading head coach. Morgan has an impressive background as a Universal Cheerleading Association staff member and former coach of Thomas Jefferson High School. Thomas Jefferson has regarded one of the strongest cheer programs in the Whitfield. They've won the state title 5 times and placed in the top 3 numerous other times. In addition to state titles, they were also national finalists and place finishers for many years. Within the past year, Morgan has completely changed out her cheer program. She has built relationships with all of these cheerleaders by teaching them that hard work pays off. That is the most basic skill of life to know. She brings both knowledge and passion to every practice, game, and competition, and she continues to raise the bar to make the cheerleading program of Plum better. To some students, cheerleading is not Friday night lights and football games anymore. The sport of cheer has grown to become highly competitive. In order to cheer at the collegiate level, the competitive programs at the schools are a necessary piece to gain skill and stamina. Most sports are played in high school to be played at the collegiate level. The Whitfield region is one of the hardest regions for cheerleading in the state. This is the first time in 4 years that our team has been competitive with the other teams in the area. We made it to the semifinals at the state competition for the first time, and we moved on to semifinals for the traditional routine at the national level for also the first time in school history. Morgan has made a huge impact on me personally in the 2024-2025 team. Win or lose, she always continues to be a positive role model and mentor. Her impact goes beyond cheer, and I'm incredibly grateful to have her as a coach and believe she would be a major asset to others as the head coach of Plum High School cheerleading. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robin Leah. I live in 109 Cherrywood Drive, and I'm in 11th grade. I've done cheer for 5 years, but went all in starting in 9th grade. Coming from gymnastics, competitive cheer was extremely different. While I appreciate the Andersons for helping me transition from gymnastics and become a great cheerleader, Coach Morgan has changed my entire outlook on the sport. She taught me that cheerleading is a team sport, not a me sport. Everything she does is for the good of the team because her main goal is to help us succeed. She's not only a coach, but a mentor and someone I look up to. Coach Morgan didn't just impact the competition team, she changed our varsity team for the better. She showed off high-level stunts, motion precision, and overall great performances on the sideline. She taught us good technique and wanted us to cheer at our full potential. She inspired many cheerleaders, and we are all so grateful for the way she's coached sideline and comp. In addition to Coach Morgan, Coach Shayla is also someone I credit my success to. Even though she is the middle school coach, she still spent time and dedication to the comp team. She went above and beyond, going to practices and competitions that she wasn't required to go to, just to support us and help the team do great. She provided the team with so much positivity and energy, especially when we weren't feeling the greatest. Through hard practices, Coach Shayla always managed to pick us back up and be the light in our world. Both of these coaches are amazing people and spent time creating a bond with the team they barely knew. We went from losing every competition last year to making it to semis at states and nationals. We made history yet again with them, and I am unbelievably grateful for everything they've brought to this team. They've changed my life as well as others, on top of showing me what coaches are supposed to be. I would really appreciate it if you guys took into consideration Coach Morgan and Coach Shayla for coach positions.
Good evening. My name is Sydney Vassilatis, and I live at 321 Noveview Drive. I'm a Plum cheerleader as well as an 11th grader. This year's tryout will lead to my 12th year cheering and my upcoming senior year. Out of all my years cheering, I have experienced multiple coaches, and all my coaches have taught me valuable lessons in life and in the world of cheer. However, one of my newest coaches, Morgan Lowenadler, has been the best coach myself and the entire cheer program has had. She has made remarkable contributions to our progress on the competition team and the sideline team. The competition team has made history multiple times this season, advancing to semifinals at states for the second time in Plum history, scoring above a 95 in our game day routine, and advancing to semifinals at nationals for our traditional team. The sideline team was also taught the abilities to do extended libs, which have never been done before, among many other hard stunting skills as well. New crowd engaging aspects have been started and can hopefully continue in the coming seasons with Morgan as our coach. In just 1 year of coaching, many goals that we thought would only be dreams have become a reality with Coach Morgan, and I can only imagine the goals both teams can accomplish if Morgan Lowenadler is our head coach for the upcoming season and years to come. Like I have previously mentioned, my coaches have taught me many lessons that have made me into the athlete and young woman I am. Coach Morgan has guided me through the mental hurdles that come with the sport of cheerleading. On the mat, we only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to show the crowd what cheer can do. With this task comes lots of responsibility, which leads to nervousness and encourages perseverance. Morgan has taught me to remain confident in my abilities and to have faith in the technique she has taught our team. She has reminded Plum cheerleaders that there is more to our sport than jumps and routines. She has taught us all the technique needed to perform skills and stunts that were only imaginable in our past years. And most importantly, she has taught us to be strong, dedicated, confident, and resilient young women. Morgan Lowenadler is a hard-working mother and a goal-driven coach. This woman has immense talent and experience cheerleading at Franklin Regional, years on UCA cheer staff, coaching Thomas Jefferson cheer for many years, and one program before that as well. Coach Morgan is still capable of not only teaching us how to do skills, but showing us them as well. Coach Morgan is a coach that makes decisions to put you to your fullest potential and make you the greatest athlete you are capable of being. Coach Morgan is not a coach that stands by and watches. Instead, she immerses herself on the mat. Within the first practice of ever having Morgan as my coach, she made sure to create personal connections with each and every athlete on both the sideline and competition teams. As a rising senior, this next year means a lot to me. I spent more years on a sideline team than a competitive team. Both worlds have touched my heart greatly. Both teams have given me lifelong friendships and memories that will remain forever engraved into who I am. Each coach I have had has truly only wanted what's best to make us better each year. It's unfortunate that everything is taking such a dark turn with cheer, but I have hope for light at the end of the tunnel with Morgan and Shayla. If it weren't for cheering each of my coaches, I can't imagine who I would be today, because majority of my childhood has been spent being a cheerleader. However, I can see my senior year being a dream come true with Morgan as my coach. Having a head coach that is talented, knowledgeable, strong, kind, and supportive, and connected to us already can only lead to great accomplishments from the athletes within Plum Cheer. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Riley Kursop. I live at 331 Aberdeen Drive, and I am in 9th grade. I was on both the JV and varsity competition team this past season. It was my first year on both teams, and I was the only freshman on the competition team. All of the coaches made me very comfortable being the only freshman and being my first year. This has also been the first year since Coach Morgan started coaching that the competition team has been doing much harder skills and making it further at states and nationals. I have been a competitive dancer my whole life and have worked with many teachers and coaches, and Morgan has some of the same motivating teaching and leadership skills that all of the people I've worked with have. She has shown me that hard work, dedication, and commitment in and out of practice will bring results. I'm not saying this just because she's a coach that knows the skills we need. I'm also saying it because she makes me want to continue to do this sport. She's always giving the best feedback and always showing that she's here for us. This team has worked so hard to get to where we are, and we need to continue to improve and achieve these goals that we have for this upcoming season. None of these achievements that we had this past season would have happened without Coach Morgan. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Reese Dryberg, and I live at 1015 Vulcan Drive, and I'm in 10th grade. I would like to begin by saying that Coach Morgan Lowenadler has had such a positive impact on not only me, but my entire team. She has helped each and every athlete grow so much, not only as a cheerleader, but as a person as well. She is one of the most experienced people I know in cheerleading, and she always pushes us to be the best version of ourselves. Last season, I had little confidence in stunting, but she helped me to reach my full potential and gain my confidence. Coach Morgan has taught us countless new skills, allowing us to put the hardest stunts on the mat that Plum cheerleading has ever competed. With her as an addition to our coaching staff this year, we had our most successful season yet, qualifying for states and moving on to semis, and also qualifying for nationals and moving on to semis. Morgan has spent numerous hours shaping the varsity sideline team, helping each member of the team to be able to hit extended libs on the sidelines, which has never been done before in Plum. She worked with us on our motions and cheers, and we have never looked better as a team. We also have never been stronger and excelled more than this past season. Morgan also previously coached very successful programs and helped shape their athletes as well. There is no one I could picture that would be more perfect for the job than Coach Morgan. She took her time and built relationships with each girl on the team and gave us the resources we needed to be successful. She helps us work hard and never gives up on us. Coach Morgan is not only an amazing coach, but an amazing person, and she helped me so much in the sport of cheerleading. She gave me the confidence to believe in myself and reach the goals we set as a team. Coach Morgan pushes us to be the best, and we have grown so much since she has come to the program. I hope you consider these ideas because it would be in best interest of Plum cheerleading and future growth within the program. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sydney Knapp. I live at 748 New Texas Road and I'm in 10th grade. I would like to begin this by saying how good of a coach Morgan is. Just by being in this program for 1 year, she truly has changed my perspective on not just cheer, but also life. This was my first year on the competition team, and I was very nervous, comparing myself to other girls and my lack of confidence and experience. Coach Morgan recognized my determination to be the best I could and to do whatever it took to help the team. She gave me chances I never thought I would have and pushed me to be the best cheerleader I can be. During this season, I watched as my teammates would get discouraged or beat themselves up over little mistakes. Morgan was always the coach to notice us and keep pushing us. Coach Morgan saw our potential as a great group of cheerleaders and individuals, and she pushed us beyond our potential to do great things that Plum Cheer has never done before. Before Nationals this year, Coach Morgan wrote our team individual letters. My letter said, "Sydney, I am so happy that I have gotten to coach you this year. It was apparent from the moment I started coaching at Plum, you are an athlete willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. From flying to basing, tumbling, doing sign work, and everything in between, you are an athlete that we know we can count on and step in wherever we need you. You are such a well-rounded athlete, and that cannot be said by everybody. You are so much fun to watch both in traditional and game day. You bring such genuine excitement to the floor, and I know that you are going to crush both of these routines this weekend. I am so proud of you and your willingness to do whatever is asked. I cannot wait to see what you accomplish this weekend and the rest of your years to come." This letter encouraged me and made my progress this year feel so recognized. By constantly pushing me this year to the best of my ability and beyond, and encouraging me even on my worst days, Coach Morgan truly made me a better cheerleader and person. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley Thompson and I am in 10th grade and I live on 267 Red Oak Drive. I was on the varsity sideline and competition team this year. I would like to share my thoughts about the situation that is happening with the sport I love. Coach Morgan has been an outstanding competition and varsity coach and an inspiring mentor to me and my team. From the moment she became our varsity and competition coach, she has pushed each of us to reach our full potential. Her knowledge of stunting, tumbling, and choreography is amazing. Under Coach Morgan's guidance, we have not only improved our performance, but have also gained confidence and resilience both on and off the mat. She knows how to motivate us when we are down on ourselves and celebrate our successes no matter how big or small. I can tell she has a passion for this sport and makes sure we all feel supported. I personally have never had such a strong bond with a coach in my life. She pushes us when we need it, and that is why this program has to change significantly. She has forever left her mark on this team, and her time with us should not end now. If she has made this much of an impact on all these athletes and the program in 1 year, imagine what she could do if she stays. I have had many coaches throughout my years as an athlete. I was a competitive gymnast for 8 years, and I know what dedication is for an athlete and a coach. She cares about us and the cheer program, both sideline and competition. In fact, we did stunts we have never done on sideline varsity because of her. Her and the other coaches made me and my fellow teammates feel confident during Friday Night Lights. She pushed us to believe that we can accomplish anything if we just believe in ourselves and each other. Coach Morgan's dedication has also been shown in our historic accomplishments this year. We qualified for states for only the second time in Plum history, and we also advanced to semifinals for the very first time in Plum cheer history at nationals for our mat routine. We've competed elite skills this year that have never been competed by Plum this year. We have improved our sideline skills, such as a lib to extension, which varsity was unable to be consistent with for years prior to Coach Morgan. I know I'm just a student, but I believe that this decision should be made for us and our well-being. That being said, I feel that many of us are comfortable with Coach Morgan. We know her, and we have been with her for a whole year now. I feel that this should matter most about what us as athletes and students have to say. We are the ones who experienced having her as a coach. I was taught to work hard and to achieve great things and stand up for what I believe in. I understand that cheer is supposed to be fun, but it's also a sport like football or soccer. They have fun playing, but they also want to win. We want to make Plum proud, just like all other sports. All I want is to be able to do what I love on the sidelines at games and at competitions. And I feel with Coach Morgan as our coach, we can achieve more than we imagined. There's a quote that I once heard from one of the upperclassmen that states, "A good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change a life." And I feel that this perfectly describes her. She has taught me so much about this sport and myself, and I would love to see what she could do for us as our head coach. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zoe Panera. I live on 416 Webster Road in Plum, and I am 14 years old in 8th grade. I'm a proud member of Plum Middle School sideline and competition cheer. Growing up, I've tried different sports, but nothing ever compared to cheer. I've already been involved in this program for about a year, and for being my first ever year cheerleading, it has already given me so much happiness and joy. The coaches have helped me to excel and to be the best I can be as a student and athlete. Plum cheer has given me so many memories with my team that I will never forget. My entire life revolves around Plum cheer. I'm fully committed to this program, and going into this program, I knew I wouldn't be able to do another sport or participate in certain activities since it conflicted with cheer. Coach Anderson leaving has been devastating for me and the rest of my team. We are heartbroken. Her commitment and love for this team is not replaceable with another coach. She has made her team a family. Fortunately, in the light of the situation, we believe that Coach Morgan will be the next best option to lead our team. She understands our dynamics and has already shown her commitment to our growth. With her experience and passion for cheerleading, we are sure that she can help us maintain the spirit of strength that the Coach Anderson has instilled in us. Personally, I believe that cheer is more than just a sport. It's a community that brings people together. Each practice, every competition, and all the moments we share have shaped us into not just better athletes, but better friends. Coach Anderson has always been the heart of our team, inspiring us to push our limits and to support each other. Her positivity and encouragement has made every challenge feel achievable. We need to keep the spirit of Plum cheer alive. We want to keep making memories, sharing laughter, and growing together as a family. This abrupt ending to a cheer program has left us feeling lost and disappointed. Me and my team believe it's crucial to address the circumstances surrounding Coach Anderson's departure and the other coaches' departure, and ensure that our voices are being heard. We deserve for this team to continue thriving as it did before this happened. I believe that combining competition and sideline is a positive that will keep our team united. We refuse to move backward. The days of the stereotypical cheerleader are over. My team is positive, and we strive to move forward and be a positive influence to the girls that come after us. We expect you to take our concerns seriously and help us move forward. We as a team are ready to fight for what we believe in, and we will not back down until we see the changes to ensure our cheer program continues to thrive. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Savannah Rodriguez and I'm 13 years old. I live on 328 Carpenter Drive. I was on the middle school sideline and co-op team this year. Over the years, I've grown up with these amazing girls who have become my second family. I've had the privilege of working with outstanding coaches. It's certainly been a disappointment to see Coach Anderson resign. I truly believe Coach Morgan is the ideal person to take the head coach position. Whenever the team faces challenges at practices, she is right there to support us and lift our spirits. Her ability to break down techniques and strategies has made a significant impact on all of us. Not only is she an amazing coach, but she makes sure to build bonds with each and every athlete. It's clear to me, and I know many of my teammates would agree, that from the moment she joined our team, she was going to be an amazing coach. She has so much experience. Her positive energy and obvious commitment to our program inspires me each and every practice. I assure you she is the best possible candidate for this position. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Addie Maturak. I live on 663 Center Road. I'm in 8th grade. I've been a cheerleader for 7 years. Coach Anderson was an amazing coach, and it is a shame that she had to step down. If there was a person to fill Coach Anderson's position, it would be Coach Morgan. Coach Morgan has built a strong team spirit and always encourages us to do our best. Coach Morgan is able to make each team member feel like they mean something to the team, making everyone feel supported and loved. Her experience and understanding makes her the perfect choice for the head coach position. Coach Morgan coming into Plum Cheer this year has truly made a big difference. Having her as our coach would keep our team strong and united. She has really made this season unforgettable. I hope the board understands that this needs to happen quickly as we need to get our cheer season underway. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Kelly and I'm in 8th grade. I live at 1123 Logan's Ferry Road. I've been cheering for Plum Cheer program for almost 9 years now. It has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I'm so glad my mom started me young. I've had many experiences and different coaches throughout the years, but Coach Anderson has always been there, and she's unbelievably supportive and helpful. As the head coach of all these years, she could have just shown up and done the bare minimum, but instead, I've never done something cheer-related without seeing her face. She's been at every PMFA practice, every sideline game, all those early morning practices, every event that involved cheer, so was she. It truly devastates me that she stepped down this year from lack of support. Coach Anderson created a whole new opportunity for me and about 11 other girls. It was so successful we got 2 second places in the first place as the first ever middle school competition team. I think the program is very shaky right now with everything and all the head coach quitting. I feel like the program is so unorganized and there is no communication. Nobody's giving any answers. We are already in March and tryouts should be 4 days away. Instead, the whole program is messed up and no one knows what's happening. With this, there is slim to none chances there will be a competition squad because last year in about a month we would have already started having practices. Cheer is an amazing program and competition team has showed people how much potential we really have and we are not just sideline cheerleaders. It is not fair to tear the program apart and leave everyone with no answers. I believe that Coach Morgan will be an excellent fit for the head coach position because she has been a part of the cheerleading coaching staff and is well versed at how we run things and has had the opportunity to build a relationship with us. She's very talented at what she does and has never led us in the wrong direction, and that is what it's all about. She gives the best advice and is always giving confidence in ourselves. This program means a lot to me, and I hope all of our voices are heard and the board will make the correct decision.
Hi, my name is Taylor McMeans and I live in 853 Emerald Drive and I am in 8th grade. Last year was my first year joining cheer and it was by far the best decision I've ever made. These girls are like another family to me and I am beyond grateful for them and the coaches. When my dad passed away last August, they all showed up at the funeral to support me without a second thought. Ever since Coach Morgan joined this program, she has always told me how proud she was of me whenever I hit a new skill. She is so encouraging and never lets us give up on anything. She never fails to put a smile on our faces. There has never been a time where I thought I could not do something thanks to her. Coach Morgan has so much experience with cheer and would be an amazing head coach for us. I hope you can take Coach Morgan into consideration. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Madison D'Antonio. I'm in 12th grade and I live in 310 Carriage Boulevard. I have been cheering since I was 3. I have been a part of many teams with many different coaches, but Coach Morgan Lowenadler by far stands from the crowd. Coach Morgan came to coach the Plum varsity and competition program this year, which has brought out the best in our team. When I walked into the first tryout practice and heard that she was coaching for Plum this year, I was ecstatic because she was held to a high regard in the Western Pennsylvania cheer world. She came in with the promise that we would make it to states this year, which was hard to believe because we hadn't made it since my freshman year. She always pushed us in ways that we had never been pushed before in terms of overall performance, technique, and stunting. This year, we took the mat with our most difficult stunts to date and improved our overall impression with the judges, allowing the team to become more competitive. She came into Plum seeing the potential that we had never seen in ourselves, and with her knowledge and experience, we were able to become better than we had ever imagined. With Morgan's help, Plum Cheer was able to make even more history. We went to states for the second time ever, placing 14th in our division, which is the most competitive division in our state. We also went to semifinals in the mat routine, which had never been done before. We were also able to perform more difficult stunts on the sideline for varsity and become sharper in our motions. While Morgan pushed us to become our best, she also took the time to form bonds with each individual member. The fact that she spent many hours writing personalized end-of-the-year notes to each athlete proves her dedication to connecting with us on a deeper level. In my letter she wrote, she hoped I was able to heal whatever had been broken by cheer in the past. Little did she know she played a huge role in bringing back the love I had for this sport. Where I had been ambushed and degraded in the past, she brought light to all my accomplishments and stayed with me through tough times. Even though I'm graduating this year, I hope you can allow Morgan to become the head coach for the Plum Cheer program so the team can become better each year. I'm forever blessed that she was my coach and made my last year one to remember. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emma Stark. I'm in 10th grade and I live at 108 Cherrywood Drive. I strongly believe Morgan Lowenadler should be our varsity head coach, and here's why. As a sophomore on both the varsity competition team and the sideline team, I've had the chance to learn from Coach Morgan this season, and I can honestly say she's made such a difference in my life and on our team. Even though she just joined us this year, Coach Morgan has been such a game changer for all of us. She believed in all of us when we don't even believe in ourselves, and she's helped me grow in ways I didn't think were possible. Her support, kindness, and constant encouragement have made me a better cheerleader and a more confident person overall. This season became a dream come true, and a lot of it was because of her. Our competitive cheer team made it to the semifinals at the state competition, and we also qualified for nationals, making it to the second day with our traditional routine, something no one thought we could achieve. On behalf of the varsity team, this is the first year we have ever been able to do straight-up libs in every stunt group, along with very difficult pyramids. These moments wouldn't have happened without her dedication and leadership. She has the experience, the heart, and the passion to lead us to even greater success with the upcoming seasons. I know she would be an amazing head coach because she truly cares about each one of us and pushes us to be our best. I can't imagine a better person to lead our team. I hope you greatly consider her for this role as head coach, and I'm so grateful for everything she has done for me and my team. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabby Corson. I live on 520 Stonehenge Court and I'm in 11th grade. I've been a Plum Southern cheerleader for 5 years and a competitive cheerleader for 13. I would like to recommend Coach Morgan for the position of head coach. Despite joining our coaching staff just last season, she has always been with us, either judging our tryouts or being one of the UCA staff at our Slippery Rock cheer camp. But with her joining our staff this year, she's already made a significant and positive impact. From the moment she arrived, it was evident that she brought wealth of knowledge, enthusiasm, and a fresh perspective to our cheerleading program. Coach Morgan has an incredible ability to connect with each athlete on a personal level, understanding our unique strengths and areas for improvement. She consistently provides constructive feedback and encouragement, which has helped us grow both individually and as a team. Her dedication to our success is evident in the countless hours she spends planning practices, developing routines, and ensuring that we always are prepared for competitions. One of the most remarkable qualities of Coach Morgan is her leadership style. She leads by example, demonstrating hard work, discipline, and a positive attitude in everything she does. Her ability to motivate and inspire us has fostered a sense of unity and camaraderie within the team. We have not only improved on our skills, but also developed a strong bond that makes us more cohesive and effective. Having been a cheerleader for the past 13 years, I've never had a coach quite like her. She cares not only about our performance on the mat or the field, but also about our everyday lives. She is generally concerned about our health, well-being, and academics, always encouraging us to be the best we can be. Under her guidance, we have achieved historic milestones by going to states for the second time in our school's history. Additionally, for the first time ever, we made it to the semifinals and nationals for our mat routine. This year, we all successfully executed extended liberties on the sideline, a feat which we have not been able to accomplish without her guidance. We also completed the hardest skills on the mat ever in Plum cheer history. These achievements are a testament to her exceptional coaching abilities and her commitment to pushing us to our highest potential. Coach Morgan has shown exceptional organizational skills and a keen eye for detail. She is always well prepared and ensures that every aspect of our training and performance is meticulously planned. Her dedication, expertise, and passion for cheerleading makes her an outstanding candidate for the head coach position. I want you to pick the best coach possible for us, and that is Coach Morgan. I'm not just saying this as a member of the competition team, but also the sideline team. I've done Plum sideline cheer longer than the Plum competitive team. I care for and want the best season possible for the sideline team, especially because I'm going to be a senior. While making this decision, we are asking that you strongly consider the recommendations from the athletes, as we are the ones that are being impacted by the situation. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Jennifer Madonna. I'm Ashley's mom, but they asked me to speak for an alumni. Is that okay? That used to be a cheerleader. Put the glasses on. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Pernice. I'm a proud alumni of Plum Senior School. I had the honor of being a Plum cheerleader for 4 years and serving as captain my senior year. I was actively involved in both sideline and competition cheer, dedicating my time and passion to a sport that shaped me into who I am today. In 2023, during UCA camp at Slippery Rock, I was selected by a UCA staff member to try out for staff in the spring of 2024. It was a huge opportunity for me, and I was thrilled when I made it onto staff. Through that experience, I had the chance to work alongside some of the best in the industry and became friends with those I once looked up to, including Morgan. After graduating, I continued my education and cheerleading career at West Virginia University. During my sophomore year, my team placed third at NCAA Nationals in Daytona Beach. That achievement wouldn't have been possible without the guidance and encouragement from Coach Anderson, Mandy and Cassie, Coach V, and Coach Weiss. Their dedication to the program and its athletes is something I will always be grateful for. Looking back, I am so proud to see how Plum Cheer continues to grow. The teams that followed my time qualified for states twice and secured the support and funding to travel to nationals, an accomplishment that is rare and speaks volumes about the direction of this program. That's why bringing Morgan on as a coach is a huge step forward. For those of you who don't know Morgan yet, I promise you, you're going to want to. She was a UCA staff member, a role that demands leadership, skill, and the ability to motivate athletes to their fullest potential. Her experience and passion for this sport will not only help our cheerleaders grow, but also continue the strong tradition of excellence and that Plum Cheer has built over the years. I understand that change can be difficult, but I encourage you to see this as an opportunity. Morgan has the knowledge, the experience, and the drive to take this program to new heights. Let's continue to support our athletes and their journey just as we always have. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you fill out the form? Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other speakers at this time? Okay. Dr. Anderson, back to you.
Yep. First and foremost, I want to thank you all as athletes coming and sharing with the board. I know that that's not easy, even to public speak at all, and then to get up in front of a board sometimes can be daunting. So you all did a great job. At this time, you are all welcome to stay. I can tell you that the Coach Ianta is not on the agenda for this evening and won't be discussed any further, and the cheerleading coach is a personnel item, so it won't be discussed any further either.
I just want to, if you want to go home, you're welcome to go home, or you can stay and enjoy our meeting. We're having a budget workshop, and it will probably last about 2 hours. You're welcome to stay, but you are absolutely free to go, and we will pause and let you guys leave if you'd like to.
I'm going to run for the rest.
Yes, me too.
I'm leaving.
What?
Too bad you don't have somebody to call about that.
We have air conditioning.
It's on, chiller's on. Yeah,
Holy chair. Some hats. I'm still waiting.
I'll make sure you have one next week.
I wasn't looking at you to say that. I always feel like it's so much effort to get myself there. Maybe it's the time of day.
Yeah.
What?
Is there a tech person? Jen, is there a tech person here?
What happened?
What's that?
He left already.
I think it's funny, Google's telling me my browser is no longer supported on my Google Chromebook, so I don't care, it's fine, it's functioning.
Right up in the right top corner to say update.
There's not.
Oh, I don't, yeah, that's okay. It's okay.
Wait, where'd you get the fun drink?
Dr. Anderson,
That's in the vending machine.
Oh, I forgot about that being down
can
there.
I just say
I'm
something
like,
general to the
sorry,
board?
down there. Now I'm thinking about that.
Everybody's here.
We're not ready to start.
Bob was like,
Oh,
No,
okay.
I remember that, like,
I thought,
but I think it also controls it, because a lot of it's not about that.
I don't want board members to talk about.
What?
just want to commend to all of us, the district, and I won't touch the issue.
Okay, just recognize that both of them are personnel.
Yes.
So they can't be
I
discussed.
understand that
Okay.
completely.
Are we all good? I think we have everybody back. Mr. Sokolsky?
Yeah, I just wanted to note, I think we as a board, the administration, the teaching staff, and everybody, we just witnessed almost an hour of a phenomenal event that I don't want it just to pass over. We had students from 8th grade all the way to 20-year alum that had the courage to go up, regardless of what stance they took. That means they just spoke eloquently. They they stood up there. They weren't nervous, and I think we need to look at that and say, hey, the district and the schools and the teachers and we're all doing it's a success. I always told student teachers, the reward in teaching does not come the day you teach, it comes down the road. And when you look at these young students as well as the older students, you can say being a Mustang was successful. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to academic achievement and activities. Myself, lead board liaison. We have 3 grants and donations. And I'm not going to try to move quick, but I'm going to try to move quick through things because I know we have a long agenda this evening. Any concerns with those 3 donations and moving them forward? Do we have 5 to move them forward? Thank you. Okay, IIU kindergarten transition MOU for the 25-26 school year. Anything to add?
It's an annual MOU for us to work with Head Start and other organizations to transfer students into the district.
Perfect. Do we have 5 to move that forward? Appreciate that. Next is John DeLuce requesting to attend the PMEA Region 1 Chorus Festival with 7 participating students at a cost of $2,000 to the district. Do we have 5 to move that forward? Awesome to see 7 students being able to go to that. Next, we have Nathan Huffman and Tamar McPherson requesting to attend the TSA state competition with 25 participating students. I think this is awesome, and for you to be able to share.
I can just talk just a moment about this, and I'm going to ask Dr. Thomas to follow up with this also. Myself and central office, we try and get out to as many student opportunities. Last year, myself and Ms. Sedlak, we attended the TSA state competition. We had 5 students. What we noticed around us from other school districts are dozens of students, hundreds of students in some cases, and we started to have a conversation about how could we build out these opportunities for our students. That led to what we're discussing right now, is that 5-fold from last year, 25 students of ours have qualified. We weren't anticipating this, but it's a good problem to have. I've talked to Mr. Manzer. We're going to look at our building budgets and pull our resources. And our recommendation is to support and give some seed money to this program with the thought that moving forward, they can build into their program fundraisers, and there's some other organizations that love to donate to TSA. But I think they need some help and they need some seed money to get off the ground, and the recommendation is to move forward. So Dr. Thomas, I know you have some history with this group, if you'd like to add anything.
Yes, as a building principal at the high school level for many years, we had tremendous success with TSA, and I think the key thing to point out here, I think it achieves 2 goals. One, it is an academic team. It's not really an activity or an athletic event. And the other thing is, too, I think it strongly aligns with the 5 core principles of our Portrait of a Graduate when we talk about communication, critical thinking, empathy, adaptability, and seeking those future-ready, durable skills that we want to see in our kids. So I can't speak highly enough on it. It will be probably a motivation for us to seek corporate underwriting as this moves forward, but this will get the ball rolling.
Thank you both. Do we have 5 to move it forward? Absolutely. Thank you. Go ahead, Drew.
I was going to say, sorry.
As like a student who's actually planning on going to the competition, we're already trying to get more fundraising in order. So just a little bit of money to start off and get us like building would be an amazing idea. We're actually doing robotics there, and I know that there's students presenting like a new pencil holder that spins and has pictures. I think just getting a little money to start with is amazing, and it's a great idea.
Yeah, wonderful.
I just want to add, spoken like a true board member on ways that we can be a little more fiscally responsible, so I truly appreciate that.
That's awesome. Okay, and you'll obviously update us on how it goes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Letter E.
I might go.
Are you? Good. Okay. Mr. Bronca is requesting to attend the All-States Orchestra competition with one student participating at an approximate cost of $1,000 to the district. Do we have 5 to move that forward? Thank you. We have the annual renewal of the First Steps Driving School agreement. Is there anyone speaking to that?
No, it's just annual review, yeah.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have 5 to move it forward? I don't see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Seton Hill dual enrollment from 25 to 28, the contract. Dr. Boyers, anything? It looked like you were getting ready to talk.
Yeah, so it's just it's the updated contract in collaboration with Seton Hill. So Mr. Lazaro and the administrative team brought it forward. Mr. Dice has reviewed it, and we're putting it for a vote to move forward and continue that collaboration.
Yeah, perfect. And I would just say with this, I appreciate the work that, oh, he's gone now. That
He's coming around for the next one.
Mr. Bachman?
Oh, no, thank you.
No, but just that we have in the program of studies and the improvements that we've made in there for college and high school. And if we can just continue to over-communicate so that our students take advantage of it. I know there's deadlines with it, and sometimes that's the hardest part, is making sure that they pay on time and enroll in time for that. So do we have 5 to move it forward? Thank you. The 2025 Summer Programs Handbook with a summary of changes, and here comes Mr. Hartman.
As the board's aware that we offer programs throughout the summer, Mr. Hartman has led the effort, and he's here to share some of the updates.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I will follow Dr. Walsh's lead and expedite this as quickly as I can. This is just a summary of changes, as mentioned. Our summer programs over the past 4 years now have been phenomenal, and it's a great opportunity for our students in the community to get those services that are needed between the end of the school year and ramping things up for the new one. So some of the changes you see here on pages 4 and 9, we removed the ELL program due to a lack of enrollment over the past 2 years, as advised by Dr. Shulo, who kind of oversees the ELL programs at that level. We've changed some updates to the technology terminology throughout, but specifically the old terminology of one-to-one devices to now technology one-to-one, as well as removing some of the other services that were no longer funded. We had things that were through some grant opportunities with the outside services that we contracted with. We still have pupil services available to our students, obviously, our own in-house counselors and social workers, but this on page 9 was specific to that partnership with outside services. On page 10, there were some updates to the credit recovery program, specifically the new dates, as well as the contact info and dates for the summer reading program at Holiday Park, extended day services, and the STEM Camp Invention program as well. Some update on the online supplemental materials, thanks to Mr. Lillette and his department, some of the things that have been updated on that page for students to access via their Chromebooks and online over the summer. And then, again, updates to acceptable use of internet, the terminology there for network resources and computers, and as well as references to match the new title of technology and one-to-one devices throughout.
I just want to make one point that I believe is important. It makes us stand out from other districts, is that our credit recovery, when we started this during the pandemic, the decision was made that it would be at no cost to our students. That still remains to be the case. Other schools, the AIU, they charge a couple $100 a course.
Almost $300.
$300 a course. We feel this is a true benefit to our community. And not only that, as the board's aware, we also offer credit recovery for our graduating seniors that are in the process of doing that so that we can get them across the stage in a few months.
Dr. Walsh, Mr. Hartman, do we have data that shows we don't use these outside counseling services for our students? Like, do we know, okay, we've only had to use the outside services a handful of times. We send students to use those services on a regular basis, and because they're not funded through a grant anymore, I truly don't care. Like, I want to see the data that shows, well, we haven't really utilized them. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about that.
Family health? Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about the counselor and training. I just needed
No, I'm talking
clarification.
about,
Yeah.
outside counseling services.
Yeah.
So why are we just are boasting about credit recovery being free, and we used COVID monies, like many districts did, to maneuver a lot of different things to get through COVID, and we chose to continue paying for that. But we're not choosing to continue paying for outside services, and I would like to see the actual data that shows that we no longer need these services.
So just to be clear, the services that we're no longer providing were separate partnerships from the services that we're already utilizing. So students that are receiving outside services throughout the year still have access to those as they normally would. This was a separate program that we tried to pilot, I believe it was 2 summers ago, to provide additional services in the summertime, and they weren't utilized.
At all?
So, no, correct. So as
They probably should have led with that.
Apologies. The funding that was there for it, it was just one of those things where we really took the initiative to try to build out something that we would hope would be more successful, and that's probably the positive of it, is that nobody needed it. So therefore, it was something we felt, and like I said, like I mentioned, we still have our own counselors and social workers available, obviously if and when something were to happen, and those students and families have those connections with those personnel within the district already that they've established, times that they'll meet and check in over the summers as well.
Sure, I mean, now, summer of '23 proved to be a much different scenario in our
Absolutely.
district a week before school started.
Absolutely.
And having outside services available, and I know from going door to door in Rustic Ridge, we provided, Mrs. Wetmore put together a very detailed list of what was available for people to utilize, and a lot of the services the district offered were on that list. And God forbid we ever have another crisis, do we have access to these services, or do we have some sort of longstanding contract on an as-needed basis? Like, I'm not, and our own staff can only do so much. Their bandwidth is only so far, should we ever have something that is a dire need.
So those family and behavioral health services that we've already contracted with, and I don't know the exact dates on the start and end of those contracts when those were approved, but those things are still in place, like I said. So almost since that incident you're referencing, and we've continued to contract and utilize those outside vendors. And Dr. Lohr and Dr. Anir Hershey and myself, we've been exploring some other services that might be of potential use for us, and again, trying to capture some grant money and other alternative revenue that would help support those. So we're constantly looking to continue to grow and broaden those options, but we still have those core resources and contracts with those services that we utilize.
Okay, thank you, and make no mistake, I don't care if it costs money.
Understood.
Like, if our kids need something and our families need something, we need to be able to provide that. That's part of a community service, so, thank you.
All right, that is everything. Do we have
Thanks.
5
Sorry.
to move? No, that's fine. Do we have 5 to move the 2025 summer programs? Are we moving it forward? The summer
Yes.
programs
Yes.
handbook? Okay. Do we have 5? Yeah. Thank you. All right, next up, community engagement, inclusion, and outreach. Dr. Richardson, we have nothing under there. We're good? Okay. Finance, Mr. Stropke, lead board liaison.
Letter A is the monthly budget report. And if there's no questions, if I move that forward, there's nothing unusual.
Yep.
Letter B is the budget workshop, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Manager.
Oh, good, I've been waiting for you.
That's good.
I'm teasing, sort of.
All right, so
Is there a favorite part of your?
turn it on.
Oh, my list of questions.
Here we go. All right, new technology here. So just to refresh you on our budget timeline, in September, the state issued our index for our school district. It is 5.3%. That's still elevated index from historical averages, you're at 3 or 4%. We did have a higher index last year. I believe it was over 7%. So 5.3% is still a healthy index there. The board did elect in December to adopt the opt-out resolution, which limits our tax increase to that index. And then our timeline here is typically in March we'll do this budget workshop to give you a high-level overview of what direction we're headed in. And then in April we'll adopt a proposed final budget, and then in May we'll adopt our final budget. And that allows us to really get ahead of it. We issue our tax bills July 1st, and our June board meetings were a little late there, so we typically do not know our answer anyways from the state in June regarding their adopted budget, so that April and May timeline really helps us. So just to review our December workshop reminder, I wanted to click in, if we could, the December budget workshop presentation and just highlight one particular item from there. So inflation, I wanted to make sure we covered this again, is that on the left-hand side here is the 12-month moving average of the inflationary index, and on the right-hand side is the cumulative effect of inflation. And I can't stress enough that most measures, revenue measures in our budget, do not increase with inflation. Our millage is a static rate. Our assessments are typically a static rate unless there's development. And while our expenditures are subject to these inflationary rates, salaries and benefits, as well as all of our supplies, equipment, are all subject to this inflation. And I've said this before, is that if you try to fight inflation, as you'll see on that chart on the right, you're going to lose that battle. It's relentless, and you have to make sure you are incrementing your budget every year, because otherwise you'll fall behind, and you'll have to catch up at some point, because that's not going to stop. You can go back to the... So to give you an overview of Governor Shapiro's budget, the basic education funding was increased by $75 million, and the special education was increased by $40 million. Those are actually what I would consider low increases. Typically we see something $100 million north for basic education and $50 million or more for special education funding. So that was a little bit surprising. I think that you're going to see potentially some negotiations on those items. One of the encouraging things that we did see is that the year 2 of the adequacy and equity allotments, so a total increase of $526 million at the state level, which that was a phased-in plan really over 7 years. So we'd be in year 2 of that funding. And I think that was a really significant investment, so that's maybe why you see that there's a lower proposal in our basic education and special education funding. The safety and security grants we're continuing to be funding. That is encouraging. We've qualified for those grants each year. There's competitive plus meritorious grants that we're able to obtain, which that seems like that is going to be an annual funding item that has been sort of integrated into the school code, and encouraged to see that funding there. Those funds typically are not included in our budget, and then we add them once we're able to obtain those grants. Again, there's the public school facilities improvement grants, $125 million. We've been successful in achieving some of those. We'll continue to apply again, so that's encouraging. And then the statewide cyber tuition rate of $8,000 per student. This would be a really important reform that would be made. There was a slight reform that was made last year when they revised the special education funding formula, or the special education
cyber tuition formula, and that provided just minimal cost savings really to the district, but the statewide cyber tuition rate of $8,000 would be a substantial savings to the district. So again, this is tough to do. Talk to your legislators, encourage them to at least work on this statewide cyber rate. And then $120 million was proposed for homestead, farmstead property tax relief. We'll show you a little bit later how this could potentially impact us on our millage proposals. An increase in the homestead specifically will reduce or lessen the burden on anybody that's approved for a homestead. So typically that's residential based. That's encouraging to see. Typically too, that is dictated by the governor's office and happens outside of the budget proposals that happen. So typically, I believe that is April 15th. Yeah, April 15th, where we receive that information. So we might not be able to have that for our April budget, but definitely for our May budget, we'll know what that reduction is. So what does that mean for us? Only a $70,000 increase in basic education funding. Like I said, I think that's one of the smallest increases that I've seen proposed for us. At the bottom is our special education funding, $80,000 at 2.5%. It's a little bit higher. Special education funding, they've done a lot of reforms to that formula. It's based on a per student analysis, and also our Act 16 data, which provides additional funding for higher cost students. And we've done a good job of reviewing that data and submitting that to the state. So we received a little bit more than the average district in that formula. But the real difference maker there is that proposed adequacy investment in the middle there. That $575,000 is what we received last year, and they're proposing the same exact increase this year. There's, to note as well, there's two pieces of that. There's a adequacy that's based on your capacity plus your current levels of spending, and we do qualify for the adequacy portion. There is a tax equity portion as well, and we do not qualify for the tax equity portion. There's some districts that qualify for both, some districts that qualify only for one, and there's a lot of districts that qualify for neither.
Mr. Manager, could you explain to the public, if they do tune in to listen to this, what that tax number is? Like why we don't qualify?
So the tax equity is related to your ability to levy those taxes. So we were originally, in the very early proposals, we did qualify. When they changed their metrics, then we ended up not qualifying. So based on our taxing level in our district, that is, we do not qualify for those. So if there's a district that has a very high tax burden, then they would qualify, but we do not qualify for that.
Because we don't collect as much? Is that what you're saying?
At the rate that we are taxing, it's not necessarily about collections, it's about the amount of burden on the taxpayer.
That's what I mean, because
Right,
our burden is less. I'm
Right,
sorry.
it's that
I used
threshold.
my math words. Yeah, our
It's that
threshold is lower.
and we don't reach that threshold because you can't tax people out of their homes, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
like, what's the balance?
Yeah, yep, got it, okay.
But I just thought for people maybe listening to this or looking
No,
at
absolutely.
make sure they know what that means, because, I mean, many of us do, but.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. We looked at local millage rates of comparable neighboring districts. Before we've looked at all of Allegheny County or some districts that are much different than us, but these are very similar districts. We pulled out Gateway, Penn Hills, and Woodland Hills to compare against. If you can see, Gateway School District, they have an interesting trend. Every single year, they're increasing taxes. They had a significant building project as well, so they're doing some future planning, and they're actually started out as a lower millage rate than us, but now they have increased above us. As you can see, Penn Hills School District, similar size but much higher tax rate, much higher budget overall, and then Woodland Hills as well. They've have a higher tax rate than us. However, they have actually decreased taxes in the last there's 2 years ago, which was, I know, very painful for that district and required many staffing cuts.
I want to just add, Mr. Manzer, and I think the board has heard me say this. We are fiscally responsible in this district. If you look at the cost per pupil, we are efficient. The districts that are on this slide right here have operating budgets between $20, $30, $40 million higher than Plum. In addition to that, if you look at the similarities, we all have about 3,500, 3,600 students. So when you look at our operating budget and you look at how we're efficient, I believe we offer, and I'm biased, a better product than districts that have a higher operating budget than us. So I think this is a good slide to show that we are fiscally responsible, we are efficient, compared to the districts that are neighboring us.
Yeah, and especially in the cost per student.
Even in Allegheny County, last year we were 40 out of 42.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all districts.
Yes.
Not that we're bragging about being 2 from
No,
last.
I
but
just-
that just means we're
It's an
sometimes
important
we're better
thing.
job of managing funds per student than other districts. We do the
Sure.
best we can with what we have.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions over on millage, if you don't mind. What,
Echoing somewhere.
I don't know why. What if this Department of Ed thing goes on in DC, like how much of our funding is tied to that? And I know we've given that number, but the numbers, my question was, I asked for this to be in the budget workshop, but like, if that happens, we're making a budget based on the assumption that we still have access to those funds, whether it be for particular programs that are for student services. I know there's always federal funding tied to these PSSA tests and all this stuff. Like, how much money could we potentially lose? Because we'll let the states control it as the conversation, and I'm trying not to be political about it because I really don't want to be. I'm looking at what happens here if all of a sudden the next fiscal year comes and they pass whatever godforsaken thing that they pass there, that all of a sudden we are left holding the bag of we don't have enough revenue.
Yeah.
Right, or no bag, that could be, we could have nothing. Like, so all the breakdown of all the federal funds that we receive, what is that number? What does that number equal to equate in tax revenue? And how are we preparing, or are we not even worried about that yet? And I understand that. Their fiscal year is different than ours, right? So what does that look like?
I'll start and
I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, but
I
I'm
understand.
extremely concerned
So-
about our own community and our kids.
Absolutely, and I'm concerned also. I've said publicly on numerous occasions that the courts have determined in the state of Pennsylvania that our schools, our public schools, are underfunded. They have a constitutional responsibility to appropriately fund schools. The last couple years, Governor Shapiro, in my opinion, has taken a step in the right direction. You see the additional revenues coming in. That enables us to lower the burden on our taxpayers. One of the items that Mr. Manzer hit and talked about talking to our legislators, I plan on going to Advocacy Day and talking to our local legislators again this year. Just to give you an idea, I'm still at the state. If it has changed a flat rate of $8,000 for cyber charter, by our calculations, and there's the expert in front of me, but it's over $600,000 of additional revenue that would come into our district. Right now, we have local revenue, in my opinion, going out to some schools that do not compare to Plum. In some cases, and I'm a competitive person, I love the idea of competing, for where our students choose to go. But in my opinion, we are sending our local tax dollars to inferior programs. There's nothing we can do about that with the way it's set up. It's just my opinion. That being said, at the federal level, there's all kinds of conversations. It changes hourly, daily, and, we can't control it, but we are mindful of this. For instance, if the Department of Education is disbanded and it comes back to the states, my understanding is that the rationale was to give local control of curriculum back to the states and local. It's always been that way. That has never changed. The federal government does not control our curriculum.
Right.
Okay, so that being said, the Title I we receive money for pays for all our reading support services. 6 teachers. That, I believe, I haven't heard that any of that was going to be cut. It's going to come back to the state. But is it going to be flat? Is that going to be increased? Same thing with IDA funds. 50 years ago in 1975, the federal government passed IDEA with the promise of funding local school districts at approximately 40%. This year, they are funding local school districts a little over 10%. I believe it was 10.2, the last number that I've seen, which puts stressors at the local level. I've said I think, another occasion I mentioned Pennsylvania, and I think we probably have moved up, but we were 45th out of, in the country in regards to appropriately funding public schools. That puts a burden on the local taxpayer. All of us in this room pay property tax, with the exception of our student board rep. But your family, I would imagine, shares the burden. We are mindful of that, and we are talking about strategies. We are a much different school district than we were 7 years ago. I remember walking in the door and the fund balance was almost non-existent. The state was talking about having oversight in regards to how we would operate, potentially losing local control. Previous boards, I will use the word, made courageous decisions to right the ship. Maybe not popular, but courageous decisions in order to make sure that our students have a free and appropriate education. On account of that, our fund balance is in a better place, and we do have options today that we did not have before, where we could borrow from ourselves by looking at our fund balance to offset some of these costs. And the challenge is, we have to approve our budget in a few months. Not quite sure, sometimes when the state is going to do that, or what's going to happen at the federal level. But we take we take all the information, and we make sure we make informed recommendations to this board to make sure that we are, 1, fiscally responsible, and 2, be in a position to offer an appropriate education for the 3,500 students that walk in our doors. So it's a difficult question to answer, but I just want to give the big picture again, because I believe it's important. So Mr. Manzer, maybe drill down a little bit, maybe correct my numbers if I'm a little bit off.
No, I appreciate the response. I just think it's a looming topic, and we can't pretend it's not there. We can't pretend, and if the object is the funds go back to the state, to go back to local districts, do they really? Do we even know that? I mean, again, every day a different stroke of a pen is another story. There's another episode to the soap opera going on. So I'm just concerned as we do this, as long as we have a backup plan for should those funds go away, because I'm really concerned that at any given moment that could transpire.
This is the beauty of having these conversations and local control. You know, working with Mr. Stropke, who is expert in this area. You know, we're able to tap into resources within this community. Mr. Manzer, if you look at our audit reports, you look at where we are financially, he has put us in the ideal place at this moment. So.
Just to expand on a couple of those points is that our title funding is about $420,000. The other federal funding that we rely on, it's passed through the IU, is IDEA revenue. So there's about $650,000 there. And then it is tied into federal revenue is our access reimbursement is about $250,000 a year. So those first two items is about $1 million. That is, you know, about 2.5% of our millage rate is what it would take to cover that. When you include access, it would be even more than that.
So you probably look at 3 to just slightly over 3% to cover all those federal funds that you would have to look at local. Or, you know, unfortunately, we're not in the business, we don't sell products, so we can't raise prices. So as you well know, everybody knows here, I'm stating obvious, but, you know, it's like, you know, you either cut your costs or raise taxes, right? I mean, those are the two options we have at that point. You know, which a lot of programs will suffer, obviously, if we have to take a deep cut of.
Can I ask the question then? And I know you're not done, so just if you can answer it as
Sorry,
that's
Ryan.
fine.
Yeah.
Well, just if it were to happen, if we pass our budget, not without taking it into consideration, but knowing that that could happen mid-year after we've passed the June 30th, do we have enough fund balance to support that 2.5% to 3%? Although I wouldn't ever think that it would happen fully, but would we have an emergency plan? Is kind of what I'm saying. I don't want to increase taxes for what might happen.
Yeah.
If it would happen, do we have a plan? Do we have?
Absolutely. So there's $15.9 million in fund balance. That's 21% of your budget, which is very healthy.
Yep.
You would have enough time to be able to make a diligent, thoughtful decision on, you know, one or the other of those is, you know, ability to raise additional revenue or ability to reduce your expenses. And, you know, there's a process that is involved there too if there's any reductions in workforce. So you would have to take the time. But certainly, you have those options. You can even reopen your budget if there's a dramatic change. But yeah, we would have the ability to manage through our fund balance if something dramatic were to happen like that.
Yeah, just Mr. Manzer, I mean, with his forecast and planning, one of the reasons our bond rating has improved is because of our fund balance. We need to be very careful of that. When we went up one notch. Yeah, thank you. When we went up one notch and we issued that bond, if you recall, we saved $1.7 million to the taxpayers. So draining or lowering that fund balance is a concern, and it could cost us more money in other ways in regards to borrowing and how we operate down the road. So I just want us all to be mindful of that.
The fund balance has ripple effect.
Right, 100%,
Yep.
but we have to be able to cover our bills while figuring that out.
Yeah, it's an emergency, yeah, it's good to
Yep.
have an emergency.
Yep.
Like, all of a sudden, we pass this in June, or, well, federal government will never pass anything in June.
They'll never pass anything,
So,
period.
Yeah,
So.
so it'd probably be like December or January next year when they finally come across, you know,
Yep.
and they say, okay, we're gonna slash you $500,000, you know, we could tap in and
Yep.
pay back ourselves.
Sure.
Versus, you know, if we have to, so.
I just want to know
But
about the
yeah, the
plan.
ramifications.
I just want to know a plan.
You know, if they were to cut it, if you were to come to us tomorrow and say, you're getting zero.
Yep.
We're looking at close to 3%.
Just to cover what we do,
Just
never
cover
mind
what
what
we do,
we
not even
do.
cover our normal operation, just cover how we do business today. Yeah. Not anything else on top. So,
Mr.
Your point is a good point, that it'll have to be.
Well, look, I'll bring it up because I know it's on people's minds and I really don't care. I mean, you know, it's a clown show going on right now and I'm concerned about our kids, I'm concerned about our district and the impact on our community. And I you know, if it was a thoughtful process happening, I would feel more comfortable that we don't need to have a backup plan, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I don't trust how that works. So I had to ask because I need to know we have a plan.
Yeah. Ms. Arendt?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you had mentioned that a neighboring district had made significant cuts. Can you just tell us a little more about that?
Just from news articles, quite honestly, Woodland Hills made significant reductions in their workforce, I know, as a result of that decrease in taxes. So,
Short Tears Valley, I believe, furloughed 20 people. In addition, other faculty and staff, because of they're not positioned or were positioned.
I think they, context too, I believe, and I don't want to speak out of turn on another district, but they had a reduction in the number of students as well over time, and they were just realigning their workforce to their reduction in students. So I'll give you just a brief overview of our revenue.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just have a quick question. Do we outperform those other three districts that we're being compared to with regard to academic outcomes?
I believe we're very competitive with the other schools that we're looking at, and in most cases, I would say yes. Depends on how far you want to disaggregate the data and drill down. I'm sure there's success stories in other districts, but overall, I feel like when you look at the Plum Borough School District, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and our students do well and thrive.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so just like I said, a high-level overview of both our revenue and expenditures, and then I'll be able to show you additional information on the real estate projections. So for local revenue, what's included here is a current real estate increase of $1 million. As I said, I have a slide on the range that you're looking at for real estate, so we'll get to that in a minute. Our current and delinquent earned income tax that has been positive over the last 3 years, so continuing that trend line, a $265,000 increase in that line item. As well, our interest, it's always a risk point, I will say, is that we've built this line item pretty significantly over the years, but we continue to receive a really good interest rate from Dollar Bank. So we've been outperforming our budget in this line item, so we're proposing a $335,000 increase in that line item. You do have to watch if that falls off the table. That could be a significant line item to be able to backfill. But right now, the outlook, at least for the next year, appears to be pretty steady. Federal IDA and rental increases, just small increases there. And then again, on our state revenue, building in a $100,000 increase in our BEF and a $188,000 increase in our special education funding. That's really an increase based off of what we had previously budgeted to what are the current allocations in this proposal. And then the same thing with the Ready to Learn adequacy supplement. We're being fairly aggressive here, I will say, is that to increase $1.1 million. That's both the increase we received last year plus the proposal for this year. And then our Social Security and retirement reimbursements are based off of a percentage of payroll. So you'll see that increase there as well. And then just based off of the current year, the previous year to current year funding is a slight decrease, $85,000 in title funding. So our total revenue projection right now is $77.8 million. On the expense side, you'll see that payroll and all the related increases is $2.2 million increases, plus those associated costs with medical, dental, and vision. Our medical increase was 9% this year at the consortium. Historically, that has been about a 5% increase, but we've seen elevated, really, during COVID it was low, post-COVID those increases have been high. They're looking to have under double-digit increases now, so hopefully that'll continue to come back down in the future. They have stabilized their fund balance there, but that is a significant increase. Total overall of our budget, those personnel related expenses are 68% of our entire budget. As far as the departmental budgets go, we have tried to be very responsible here in limiting these increases. Our debt service increased $412,000. That's based off of the past PFM projections that they've had of our $10 million debt service from last year, plus an additional $10 million for this year. That should really get us most of the way there. There'd just be a very small increase in the following year to be able to satisfy that entire $30 million debt plan. Technology has an increase of $476,000. They're really looking at those E-rate purchases that we've previously authorized, plus updating a lot of necessary infrastructure. And then our other departmental increases are approximately $250,000. That's sounds like a big number, but that is 1.7% of our 1.7% increase over the prior year. So the total expense projection right now is $78.2 million, and you can see that there's a $400,000 gap. We're currently meeting as an administrative team, and we've challenged all of our department leaders, our management staff to be able to come up with additional reductions in their budget. So we continue to look at opportunities, and we'll continue to work on that through our April presentation, when we'll provide you all the details.
Just as the board is aware, we start in January with our program of studies, and based on what our students are selecting drives our staffing. We also, in the teacher's contract, they must notify us in January, so we have an idea of positions that will be vacant, and we look at each position thoroughly to make sure that we're appropriately staffed. I will tell you, over the last 2 years, we've had positions that we have not filled because we had retirements. Our staffing, as students matriculate, changes from the elementary to the middle level to the high school, and we're very fortunate. We have teachers, wonderful teachers with multiple certifications that we're able to move or teach a section. Last year, 5 positions through attrition we did not fill, and we are going to look at that every year in regards to making sure that we are appropriately staffed. As Mr. Manzer said, we are going building by building, department by department, and scrutinizing every line item to make sure that we are fiscally responsible. But as I shared earlier, when you look at other districts that have larger budgets, you know, we don't have as much wiggle room. And we need to be mindful that when we recommend cuts, this community will feel it in regards to services, in regards to classes. We are not recommending any cuts in regards to student services or opportunities. We believe that we're moving towards a very fiscally responsible budget that maintains the current service level, but we will continue to scrutinize and look for opportunities to be fiscally responsible.
Dr. Walsh,
Yes.
as you bring up staffing, it would be amazing, as these kids are scheduling here in the high school, for those that are on the fine arts track and some of those, you know, AP or honors classes, that they don't have to pick which track they're going to go on because we don't offer enough sections to a class. So I don't ever want us to right-sized staff to the point where our kids don't have choices. And so I'm hoping come August, my phone doesn't blow up again with why did this happen again when we quote unquote scheduled so early? Like, I hope we're being mindful of shifting some of those sections around so we're making sure we are able to fit these things in for kids. But at the same time, I understand being fiscally responsible, but these kids that are in this building have one chance. One. And I don't want them to not be able to have their whatever fine arts classes that they need to have because they have to pick AP chemistry or whatever they're having to do because we don't offer enough sections to something.
Yeah. Right now, we're currently looking at student selections, and staffing will be based on what our students are telling us what they want. Are there going to be conflicts? In every school district I've worked in, there's conflicts. Not every student can take every course that they want. We work to the best of our ability for that to happen. But when you have 1,200 students and you have each of them with multiple selections and the complexities of that, we work to the best of our ability so that we don't have those conflicts. We want to give kids opportunities, and one of the avenues, and some people, prefer having the flexibility of PDLA in order to free up their schedule, in order to make it work. And I believe Mr. Hartman has done a very thoughtful, put together a very thoughtful process working with our school counselors in order to expand opportunities for our students. The last thing any of us want in this room is to not give our students opportunities. Sure. But we can't say yes to everything and every request. And I think
I 100% agree with that. Unfortunately, this particular group of students,
I know who you're
it's
talking
been
about.
An annual problem.
Yeah.
Year after year after year. It doesn't matter who the administration is in the building or in your office. Like, it's been a consistent annual problem. So I'm hoping with this timeline and us saying we're going to be fiscally responsible, I fully agree with that. I would just hope my phone doesn't blow up in August because the same group of kids don't have a class because we didn't go and figure that out because we're too concerned about budgetary concerns over maybe needing a teacher and making sure our kids have the opportunity. So I know it's a balance and we can't say yes to everything, but it's literally the same group of kids.
I understand.
Consistently.
I know. I'm well aware.
I know.
I'll just move on to speak to the tax rate analysis here. So, here's just a range of options that you would have available to you. From no change, if you notice that there's a $100,000 increase that just relates to the assessed value increase that you're seeing, which when I came to the board previously in December, that was actually a negative number. So I'm very happy to see that's a positive number. There's a balance there between growth in those assessments and the tax appeals that we've been seeing. Really a lot of activity there, and it's good to see a positive number there, but essentially, that's not providing a lot of revenue really to any district in Allegheny County. I would be surprised if there's a lot of assessed value increases that are happening. And then you can see your options there as far as a quarter index, a half index, 3/4 index, and the full index. Right now, what is included in the previous slides was a 2.5% increase. We're trying to keep a very reasonable increase. We know last year we had a significant increase there. And then really looking at in the future is just trying to have that incremental tax increase approach as to where we're having small reasonable tax increases every year as opposed to big swings of having really large increase with no increases in certain years. So really trying to take a consistent approach there. And then you can see too, if you go to the very bottom line, you see that if you have a escrow account, your monthly increases that you're seeing, any range from $3 to $12 a month, are still very reasonable. If you look at the homestead exclusion line, there's about $270 there that's related to that homestead that I talked about before. If that increases, I was trying to do some rough math, rough calculations there, is something in the range of potentially like that $35 per year change is possible from what I saw based on the overall state increases of what the pot of money is now versus the increase. So you could be looking at something in the range of that quarter index being taken off of everybody's bill off the top. So that would provide some nice tax relief as well, if that's able to happen.
Mr. Manzer, I know that we have been trying for a long time, many years, to get to being at a place where we felt comfortable being able to do an incremental increase, to be able to provide our taxpayers with, without a burden, but also understanding that that minimal increase is going to have to happen year over year. So one, I'm thankful that you came to us with a budget that is kind of honoring that. I'm going to throw it to you, Mr. Stropke, and let you kind of talk about what you're thinking and how you feel about it. But I know that's been a long-standing goal, and last year nobody was happy about having to do what we had to do to get us to the place that we were at. But we've, to even the discussion of the fund balance, been able to save 1.7 million, been able to do a lot of good things. I think one of the things you and I talked about is it sends us down the path for kindergarten, and that's some full-day kindergarten, and that's something we want to make sure that we're continuing to consider. So I'm happy from that perspective. Mr. Stropke, I wanted to just give you the opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, last year we talked about it, and I think as a board, most people were, thinking that that's the approach we wanted to take as far as future tax increases. I mean, last year was 6.2. Yeah. I was going to say 1, but somebody would correct me. 6.2. Right now we're looking at 2.5, but that's preliminary. That's, they're going to do their due diligence and dig in and see what else we can get, because we talked about at least maybe trying to do 2% a year, versus, coming to the taxpayers every 2 or 3 years and hitting them with 6%, a crack, which I think is a good approach. I mean, financially, for us to be able to manage and look down the future to projects down the road, it would be nice if we knew we had that continuous little bump every year. We can plan better, right? I mean, if you knew we were going to get those increases, if we look at you go back to those inflationary charts, it's still growing, and that's the unknown. None of us know what the next 6 months or a year is going to be like. I wish I can tell you, but I'm not that good. But I think, right now it's probably the average inflation rate in the US, it's all products are different. It's probably hovering around 3%, the average. So, us looking at 2 or 2.5, we're just trying to keep up with inflation basically at that point. But the idea is to be able to put some of that as we go down the road, and we are fiscal responsible and not overspending on other things, that we can build that balance so that we can do things to better programs, better the school. I think is a good approach versus, we don't want to do anything this year because for whatever reason we just don't want to do it this year, and then 3 years from now we have to come up with 6.1. I mean, eventually it all comes home, right? One way or another, we're going to pay for it, right?
Right. And it's a cost savings to do it annually.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cost savings because
It is. Yeah.
it's a stacking effect. So when you have to go on and say, like last year, we need a 6% tax increase, and the projected was, literally so many people think we raised taxes for 4 years straight last year with that one vote, whatever. But with that said, because that was the projected budget at the time, right? But there's a stacking effect that goes on. And so these small increases, we have neighboring districts that do this every year. And it's like, nobody screams and yells about it because they know they're keeping up with their program, their district, their facilities, their everything. So I don't like raising taxes.
No, I don't.
None of us do.
I'd rather say 0 for the next 10 years if we could, right?
Well, we've been there, Mark. We've gone there. Been there and done that. It hasn't go very well.
Well, we're in places like we are today with like buildings that need significant improvements that weren't done. And again, I'm not blaming anybody in the past, but they weren't done for many, many, many years. Way before anybody sitting here was here.
Well, and if you voted to borrow the money, you better vote to pay for it. That's going to be my view on it.
But I think that's a good approach. I mean, financially, fiscally, balancing budgets, I mean, that's definitely, I think, a good approach versus the spikes and the.
Right,
When-
it's less of a hit.
Yeah, I've talked to two district superintendents, one a district similar to us, neighboring us, that have incremental increases, and a larger district in the center of the state that does half the index every year. You know, and when I look at this chart, it's $6 a month for the average household. You know, we don't like recommending tax increases either. But when you go 1 year, 2 years, 3 years without adjusting, as Mr. Manzer said, you can't fight inflation. Second, we're still living with some of those decisions that have occurred in the past. This year, within the last year, we had a 42-year-old water pump for the pool that was end of life 15 years ago. We had a roof that was end of life at O Block, and now we have another section that we're working on. We're deferring our facilities when we're doing that, and it costs the taxpayers more in the long run. You know, fixing some of these things would have been a lot less expensive than they are now. And I also, on the conversation of, you know, incremental tax increases, you know, it also truly, as an organization, it's a clear message in regards to, as a community, where we're going every year, whenever we're making decisions on contracts, agreements, and what we can afford. I believe it brings a little bit of fiscal discipline and allows for some long-range planning whenever we're looking at this. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe maybe it was Mr. Straubke did an analysis, and if we would have had incremental increases, we wouldn't have needed a 6.2% increase last year. It would have been less than that. And wouldn't that have been better in the long run for the taxpayers?
Yep.
So I think there's a lot to talk about. I mean, we're tightening our belt, and we're still working on strategies to bring forward a thoughtful recommendation, but looking at half the index, 2.5%, you know, $6 a month on average. You know, unless we hear differently from the board, we're going to continue to get that as low as possible. But we also need to be mindful, if we're not able to do that and the board gives us a directive of you want to go less than that, then we're going to have to come back with cuts in services. We are not a district that has excess, and that it will have ripples in regards to what that looks like. So we will move forward with the 2.5% unless we hear differently.
I mean, ideally, nobody, again, back to the point, nobody
Yeah.
wants to increase. Ideally, I think, you know, I've always been trying to think 2 in my head, but I don't know if we can get to 2.
We're trying.
I know, we're trying to, but to credit to Mr. Manzer, his team, the administration, a year ago, that number was 5 for
Right,
this year. So it's already gone down to 2.5, or I should say it's gone down to 2.5. It's projected to be at 2.5. So, and they're still working to refine it, so, but it's already been slashed in half.
Right.
So that was with not replacing some staffing positions last year, keeping things as tight as can be.
And if the state continues to appropriately fund public schools, there may be a year where we're able to pause.
I want to be able to open the floor for those who haven't had
I have
any
a
other
question.
questions or comments.
I do. I looked through the whole budget, this presentation, but I don't see anything leading toward the discussion or feasibility of full-day kindergarten. And every year we push it and push it and push it. And we're at the point now where even the kindergarten workshop recommendations are about to And I don't see where we're doing any kind of funding or anything toward full-day kindergarten. So are we not looking at that, or where are we?
Let me start by answering that. As you recall, the kindergarten task force, the recommendation was for this administration to start preparing to give future boards the option of a full-day option. That's what led to the conversation and the bonds in the addition and making sure we have capacity from K through 12. We are moving in that direction. And next year, according to the kindergarten task force, it is time to revisit that conversation. And that will start the conversation all over again. And but we believe that the budget we're recommending is still moving towards that goal of full-day kindergarten.
I understand that, but the way it sounds as a layman is that we're going to start the discussion with zero. And we're going to build from zero. Where last year even, I brought that up last year when we discussed the 6% tax increase. The year before, when we discussed the no increase, I brought up that we should be putting something aside for the possibility of a full-day kindergarten. So now we're going to look at it in 2026, but we're going to start at zero. So that means by the time we actually get, most of us on this board aren't even going to be on this board anymore. And we're still not going to be talking about a full-day kindergarten, because a kindergarten workshop or task force made a recommendation years ago to wait till 2026. That's not fair to our future generation of students and the young kids that aren't even there yet. I was surprised to not see something in there. And if we're talking about cutting departments, tightening the belt, I understand that. I want to be fiscally responsible, but at the same time, I still say we need to be putting something aside to have a starting point when we start, unless we've already made up our mind as this board that we're not going to touch full-day kindergarten. And I'm certainly not making that recommendation by any means, because I think the younger kids are losing, and they're losing big.
So let me answer a few of those questions. One is, I believe we have been moving towards that model and building capacity for that option. That, you heard the phrase, if you build it, they will come. We didn't have the capacity to even have the conversation a few years ago. We are building out, we're adding the addition on. We've done a demographic study. We are moving towards that direction in order to have a facility. We have to have the facility before we can have the program. So I hear you, Mr. Skolsky, loud and clear. And, if you feel that as a board, that you would like to go up to 4% or 5.3% to start putting money away, then I don't know if that's what you're recommending in regards to a tax increase. So the last is the 2 years ago, why we did not raise or recommend raising taxes. I think I said to one of the board members, I wasn't superintendent at that point, but I can give you a rationale. One was we still had a lot of federal money that were coming in. And there was other factors that Mr. Manzer can talk about in regards to why we didn't raise taxes 2 years ago. And like I said at the very beginning, we don't like raising taxes. We don't want to be in that position, but we also want to move our district forward. So, Mr. Manzer.
Yeah, we had significant interest earnings that year. We simply didn't need to raise taxes to be able to have a balanced budget. So that's the answer on that. And again, we did in the kindergarten task force, there was definitely a line item that related to capital projects and debt service. And, you've seen in this budget, and it has been difficult to manage the $412,000 increase in debt service. To deliver a low tax increase with including that is definitely tough to deliver. So there isn't an allotment, at least in this budget, to relate to those capital projects.
But I think what's most important, and I appreciate you and Dr. Walsh reiterating that, is this board hasn't walked away from full-day kindergarten whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we just passed capital projects that are aligning to full-day kindergarten. And you can't start full-day kindergarten without having the capacity to have somewhere for those full-day kindergarten classes to go. So nothing has happened that has moved away from that. And in the 6% increase, and then to your point, the 412 debt service that we're covering is all happening to support full-day kindergarten. So I think it's important for the taxpayers to understand no one here is not advocating for it, and no one here is saying that we shouldn't have that happen. And correct me if I'm wrong, that building isn't going to be finished by the time this budget would be in completion, correct?
Yeah, and I'm sorry. We build the building, we build the space, we wait 1.5 years or 2 years. Then we start building the money to pay for the additional staff to go into those rooms. When, again, it's the same thing I've reiterated before, should we not at least have, even if it's a small amount, something that's building to the ultimate goal of if the board, this board, or the next board, or the one after finally says, yes, we would like to go back to full-day kindergarten, we have the space. Oh, we need to bring in a teacher or two, we don't have the money.
Mr. Sokolsky, what would you like to raise taxes to in order to do that?
I'm not talking a number, I'm asking in the process of a workshop that where the consideration is. 2 years ago, when we didn't raise taxes at all, I asked for at least a consideration.
We did that. We're doing the capital project. We're doing the capital project. Let's pause and ask this question. Mrs. Schaefer.
I'm not arguing, I'm just
You are,
asking.
because you're missing the clear point.
I'm
Mrs.
not
Schaefer,
missing a thing. Please don't
when
judge
will
me.
O Block Elementary be finished? The renovate, or the addition?
We don't even have a project.
But when will it be finished?
Right.
When will we're all in the mind, we're gonna borrow 27.
27.
So you would like for us to set aside money now and ask the taxpayer to take on an increased burden now for the 2027 school year? That's what you're asking for?
I was asking for consideration to the future to start building now rather than in 27 starting at 0.
We're still struggling to get to 2.5%.
It can be 0.5%.
So your suggestion would be that whatever number they get to, and they're still doing budget cuts to try to figure out what we can cut in order to get to 2.5, maybe raise it to 3 in order to set aside money for 2 years to wait until 2027 to hire a teacher.
My suggestion is that I'm just asking, where is the consideration other than building a building for full day? That was my initial question, is there any consideration toward moving toward a full day kindergarten program other than putting up brick and mortar? That's all I'm asking.
Go ahead.
I feel like too, us having a discussion around, we want to give our taxpayers an expectation, maybe, that we're gonna do small incremental tax increases yearly will also help towards that. Because maybe next year, we won't have to raise taxes, but we choose to continue to do the incremental tax increases so that we do have the revenue for the teachers. And I think when it comes to that too, if we're saying next year we can have full day kindergarten, put it in the budget, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
we would
absolutely.
choose to do that for the school year we're ready to do that. And I think it is irresponsible for us to put money aside for something that we're not even ready to do right now.
The one I'll use the word consideration, is, we just finished the Portrait of a Graduate. We're moving into our comprehensive planning That is going to lay the foundation to what our student experiences look like, which involves staffing. So a lot can happen in 2 years. We've had 13 retirements in the last 2 years. You know, you look at the enrollment at the high school, that bulge of students that when I started here were at the middle level and now getting ready to graduate. Our high school is going to go from a graduating class of around 320 to about 270, which is going to open up the availability of staffing when we have retirements and right sizing and building towards that model. So it is an ongoing conversation, and it is complex, and there's many moving pieces, but we have never taken our eye off the ball in regards to getting to the place of full-day kindergarten. It's just not going to happen next year because we don't have the space.
Right.
So it's going to take us a little bit of time.
That was all I was asking.
Yeah, and I'm trying to give you an answer, yeah.
Not for tax increases, or I was asking, is it still in the consideration? After 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you gave me the answer that I was asking.
They gave you that answer
I
within the
appreciate,
first minute.
thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the time.
You're welcome. I want to make sure that the public knows that no one on this board is against full-day kindergarten, and no one on this board wants to increase taxes a penny more than we have to for full-day kindergarten, a day earlier than we have to for full-day kindergarten.
Yeah, can I just chime in? I'm sorry.
That's
about
okay.
There, but, first of all, can we please resend the kindergarten task force report to all the board members and the admin again so that they can read it thoroughly? And second, I want everybody to understand that part of those recommendations had to do with a hybrid model. If we couldn't go to full-day kindergarten right away, and that hybrid model would have to utilize EDS, and it would be targeted at kids that tested and needed full-day care more than other children. Plus the fact that there are parents that don't want full-day kindergarten. So we're trying to come up with a compromise while still figuring out our facilities problem. So can we just please resend all of that to everybody? I mean, I can have the kid, obviously I'm the one who oversaw the kindergarten task force, so I can pull those members back in. They're perfectly willing to come to a board meeting and talk to you. They would prefer to do it in executive session, but I mean, that's really where we are. We have two realities. We have only so much space. We know what we want to accomplish, but there's a compromise in the middle. So I'm not sure why this discussion is going so haywire.
I'll make sure that all the board members have a copy of that in my report by the end of the week.
There's a link as well in the December budget workshop presentation to the kindergarten task force recommendations, so.
Are there any other questions or comments?
No, but I want to make it clear, we're not saying hybrid, like virtual and.
No.
Because
hybrid is
right.
having EDS supplement the full day by being in the schools. So, and also eliminating the reason for kids to travel from one school to another to have full day implementation. Plus, those kids are most likely to get free services through EDS. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not not an online model at all.
No, the word hybrid, just we want to make sure for anybody listening, they know hybrid is meaning some that would still go full day, some that would go half day, and that assessments would be used so that our students who are most in need would be the ones serviced first.
Right. The only thing about the hybrid is that, so first of all, EDS and the kindergarten program coordinate with each other already, because parents can opt their kids into EDS now.
Yep.
So they can get a second half of school, so they coordinate the learning programs. So that's essentially what would happen. So we're calling it hybrid because it wouldn't be for every single student. That's the only use of the term. If that makes sense.
Yep, no problem. Ms. Chudowitz, you haven't had an opportunity yet.
I just wanted to comment, just to piggyback off the hybrid model. A neighboring school district actually did that, and then actually they cut it to nothing. But you would, to their point, you would take an assessment to see who the most needy, and then it would go down to a lottery from there. But to the points of the incremental tax increases, I do like that. It's helpful to prepare so we don't have this angst where these heavy tax burdens. And the only thing else that I wanted to add, when we start talking about for next budgetary, the things that each budget has cut, could we maybe share that with the public so everybody knows kind of where we've cut down with a percentage?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it comes out of facilities or if it
Right,
came out of.
right, exactly. This is how much everybody has contributed to the overall pursuit.
Yeah,
share out some of
I don't see that being a problem in it.
Right. That way everybody knows that, yeah, we're doing this, but we're also, here's the kind of the cost benefit.
Sure, yeah, we can share some of that up.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? I know you have one last slide.
Get to some
My mic
positive
wasn't on.
stuff. So we did publicize this as well in the Plum magazine, but our tax discount programs that we have available. So the homestead exemption, that's the $270. We did a mailing to every single person that does not have the exemption on file in the county. So they've been reminded of that multiple times. The property tax rent rebate program, that's funded by any of their lottery spending. So if anybody qualifies for that, they're able to apply to the state. And then the senior citizen tax relief program, that's a piggyback program off the Allegheny County program. And that's as long as you qualify for Allegheny County, that information is passed along to our local tax collector and you're eligible for that.
Awesome.
That's all I got for you.
That's it.
I have a quick question. Do we know how many people take advantage of those discount programs? Do we have visibility into that?
I definitely have visibility over the homestead. It's simple math. The state gives us an allotment divided by the number of homesteads that we have approved. And then I will not have any visibility over the state program. And I'm pretty sure I can gather details on the local program in Allegheny County for you.
Mr. Mander, it'd be nice, it might be helpful if we can add it to the report at the end of the week so the board members can have a sense of some of those numbers.
Sure, yep.
All right. Letter C. Well, I want to make sure if anybody is in disagreement with the administration moving forward with a 2.5% right now, working as hard as possible to get to 2, but knowing that that's probably not going to be feasible. We good? Go
Can you
ahead.
just tell me what would be the impact of services if we were to try to go lower at this time?
We would start, and my recommendation would be to start outside of teaching and learning. It could mean, and you're putting me in a position where it may impact personnel, which I do not want to discuss, but it may impact personnel, and it may impact services that we're currently offering that we may have to revisit. And just off the cuff, I would not want to give my thoughts on that until I would meet with my team to make sure that those would be the best recommendations moving forward. But as you saw in those slides, I believe we're one of the lowest tax bases in the county. We spend the least amount per pupil. Other districts that are our size have significant, I use the word significantly higher budgets than we do. And we're able to offer similar programs. So I'm just at the point, what I guess I'm saying is to go too deep into this process would, one, either cause us to start to drain our fund balance, which is not good long-term for us, or two, have to cut services, okay?
And I think I would, I guess, well, I guess from a longevity, from a wisdom perspective and being here years ago when we actually had to cut staff and cut services, I think it's very important for us not to even put that on a table for anybody to hear that and think that we're stepping that we're stepping anywhere near that line.
I just wanted to ask
Yeah.
what that would look like.
Yeah, I think it's
if we were
detrimental.
to do that.
Yep.
Because as we know, once taxes go up, very rarely do they come down.
Yep.
And I just don't like to see that from
Yeah.
the community.
I totally get it, and I would
know
say.
you get it. I know we all get it.
Well, I 7, 8 years ago, how many years ago now was
It
it?
was 2018, it was over 20 people that
It was
were
24 or 26
were
furloughed
furloughed.
that we had to do that to, and that was, it put us in a much healthier situation, but it was incredibly impactful to the district, and to the community at large. And we were able to offer jobs and hire people back for all 26 of them in the end, which did my heart good after we had to do that. And some of them went to other districts and have left us and went on to bigger and better things. But it was just, I just would hate to even say that. But I do think it's important to say.
It could be.
If we had to go lower, but I don't, I would say to the public, I don't think we're there, anybody is there.
It also costs us to defer expenses. For a very simple example would be, we talked about, not moving forward with electric buses. We're going to continue to buy, buses every year. We may get to the point where we're not buying buses, and, 5, 7, 10 years down the road, it's going to leave a burden on that board in this community.
Yep.
And I think what I find, and Ms. Schaefer and I talk about, and Mr. Manzer, is that's what we're living with right now. Is there were years where facilities was deferred, and it's costing us more now to make sure that our buildings are safe, warm, and dry.
Okay. I hope that wasn't offensive to you. I just, when we had to do that before, it was a lot. It was rough.
Too, like, we're talking about us raising taxes but I hate, but we have other local governments that's around here that could be bringing revenue into our community that can help to support the schools too. So I think us working with them and, I think that's helpful as well, because some of these other communities, such as Monroeville, they have a ton of businesses
we don't have those
and we
businesses.
don't have that. So a lot of that does go on to our taxpayers. But hopefully the work that they're doing to bring business in is going to help with that as well.
Sure. And then, another 0.5% could be $400,000 to $500,000, maybe $300,000 to $400,000. We continue to look for alternative sources of revenue. Take the buses out of the equation, which is, it's going to be a big chunk. What was the number still? I mean, I don't, top of my head. Couple million. So, even if we can find another $500,000, $750,000 through alternative revenues, that sort of can, offset, maybe not this year, but then maybe next year instead of, if we're saying like 2, but this year it has to be 2.5, maybe next year, I don't want to go out and promise everybody, but maybe next year's only 1.5, or 1 3/4, or whatever the case may be. The problem is we're going into a year, we don't know what's going to happen. As Michelle brought up, there's federal funding, there's, lots of variables that can play into this.
Okay.
It's tricky.
Yeah, to say the least. All right, letter C, Mark.
So letter C is the 25-26 AIU program service budget. This is just an annual renewal with the AIU.
And I would note that their increases were 2.5%.
Ironically.
It's inflation.
Yes.
Do we have 5 to move that forward? Okay, thank you. Down to operations. Mr. Adams isn't here this evening. Letter A, the pool pack replacement with Dakin Applied America.
So I guess what I was talking about just shortly ago in regards to deferring facilities down the road, Ms. Schaefer is going to talk about some of the work that needs to be done to bring us into compliance and to make our facilities safe.
Mrs. Schaefer, thank you for sitting through the budget presentation.
I learned a lot. And
hopefully, some of these things that we're doing will help with the budget, putting newer equipment in, more energy efficient, so that should help as well. First off is the pool pack. The pool pack will help take care of the water issue in the pool. That's no longer in the pool, but it's coming from the ceiling, so that will alleviate that issue. And that is done by Daikin Applied, where that will take them a couple weeks to get it in and get it out, and we'll be ready to go again. Can I just keep going down through the list? Is that fine?
Yep.
The bus garage, the diesel tank will not pass inspection the coming year, so we need to replace that with a just standalone 2-lining tank, since we're going to be needing fuel, diesel fuel, more often now. The next one is the grant that Preston wrote for us for the $500,000. We are going to be able to start replacing a lot of the roofs here on the high school that need to be replaced, that are also leaking really, really bad. Those will start, and that is a CoStar project as well.
Clarification on that one too is that if you look at the quote, there's an add alternate for section R5, which we are going to take.
That's another critical issue as well. A lot of these are public areas that everyone walks into. The transformers. Here at the high school, we own the transformers sitting on our campus, and it is a requirement that every 5 years these be tested. They have never been tested. They've never been opened up to make sure that they're working the way that they should. So at one point, maybe one of these power outages that we have could malfunction, and we would have no power, and it would be costly to replace those. And then Pivot and Holiday.
Schaefer, sorry. On that one, there's 2 options, so we'd be taking option 1 on
Yes.
that in the
To do it all at one time instead of breaking it up into 2 shutdowns. Where am I? Pivot and Holiday Park heating systems do not have glycol in them. So during these cold winters that we're having, these buildings could freeze up on us. What we want to do is put glycol in them and take care of that. And they have. Part of the building had froze up on us just recently.
Were they meant to have it in it and they never did?
Yes.
That was an Airmark decision.
Yeah.
All the way back to that. That
Yeah.
they chose not to put it in?
Mhm.
That, I remember that being a conversation with
Yeah,
Airmark.
I actually remember it too, and I don't,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, good.
So those are my bills. Those are what we're going to be doing, and those will all be happening soon
The only
with your
question
approval.
for the pool pack
Yes, ma'am.
and the transformer, all not interruptive to our students?
No.
Okay.
Nope. They'll be up on the roof and they'll never know it. And the transformers will be done during the summer.
Okay.
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 Those are all like capital, right? Those are.
Yeah, this funding will come out of capital projects fund.
Okay. Any board members have any questions or concerns for any of those? Do we have 5 to move them forward? Does anybody know? Hands were very fluid these days. It's fine.
I'll have my facilities question for the next month's meeting about the tennis courts being painted. It's too late for that today.
Okay. Personnel, we won't discuss, and then policy, Ms. Aaron.
Okay, so we have a total of 12 policies on the agenda tonight, including 10 revisions to existing policies, 1 second reading, and 1 new policy, 815.1, which is a significant addition. It addresses the use of generative AI in education, and I'll share a few of the key aspects. It establishes guidelines on how AI tools can be integrated into the classroom while maintaining ethical and academic integrity, restrictions to prevent misuse, bias, or over-reliance on AI in student work, and ensures student data privacy when using AI-powered platforms. So I'll open it up for discussion on any of these policies that are on here.
Come back next month.
All right.
Okay. Second reading, did you do that one?
I had mentioned it, but it was the first aid standing orders.
And Do we have any questions or concerns, or do we have 5 to move that one forward?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Great, thanks.
All right, projects and plannings, Dr. Richardson. That's all right. You were reading policy too, me too.
Yes, we have, A, the Equitable Construction Management Services for middle school and Block Elementary, and then also the HDG Architects Construction Phase Contract and Exhibits. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So Equals Construction Management Services, we interviewed 2 firms for this for the services that are provided here. What is a part of this contract basically is that the construction manager will write the front-end specifications for the bid documents, and then they will also set the schedule for the project and then actively manage the project. So the construction manager has at least one staff member that is there every day during the projects. They run the coordination between all of the individual contractors. If there's change orders, they manage that process. They're really an active member of the team along with HEGG, and they're going to be involved in the middle school project, most likely on a interim schedule, so 2 to 3 days per week for the summertime, and then for O Block Elementary, they will be there every single day. And for the middle school project as well, they really won't be involved in the preliminary stages, but for O Block Elementary, they will start right away, and they're already coordinating actually with HEG to try to get an understanding of the project and anything they would need to do. They also do cost estimates, so they engage 2 different firms to do 2 different cost estimates for the project, so they will hopefully provide a very accurate number from the beginning before we go out to bid to be able to make the decisions on the entire scope of the project. And I was impressed by their services. They seem very personable. They're a small team. They have experience in schools of this size. They're involved in the Seneca Valley project, which was a very large, impressive project. And we were impressed by their team and their experience that they were able to bring here to the district. For the HDG architects, this will take them from the design development phase that they're in right now all the way through the construction closeout phase. So this will engage them throughout the entire project, and this is the very detailed contract. It's both, all of these contracts are standard AIA documents, and they will, included in the HEG architects as well, they did include the full amount of the credit from the facility studies that they've performed earlier on these 2 buildings.
Will these items for item A be separated? Because I'm not voting for anything with O Block until I actually see a project that we don't have.
Well,
And I know someone's going to give me a runaround story.
I'm
When
not
I
gonna-
see something we're going to present to the taxpayers of what they're paying for, that's within our budget, I will vote for whatever we need to do to get to that point for O Block. Until I see that number and I see a project, I'm not voting for it. The middle school is a massive priority, and that needs to continue going forward, so I'm asking if we could separate these votes.
I think whenever you
Yeah,
vote, you
just-
can vote just, item 14,
Yeah.
whatever, A2. And say.
I know I'm not changing any of y'all's minds, and no one's going to ask questions, so I don't care. I'm not doing
Yeah,
it.
that's fine.
We don't have a project to present to the public, but we keep spending money for something they don't have anything to look at yet.
April 16th, we're going to
Right,
have
so this
the
is like a month
HDG
early.
Yeah, I got it, HDG presentation. And if I'm right, a day later, the next day, then it will all be, the website will be built out for the public.
yes, so over the last 6 months, we've been presenting schematic design plans. We've had the architects here, we had the financing here. And part of, when this board agreed to move forward with this process, it was to give this board the utmost flexibility in regards to controlling costs. Based on our last meeting with schematic design, what we heard is less aesthetics, more into instructional spaces. We have meetings weekly. Our faculty, our administrators, our departments, it's been a whole district approach to make sure that the wishes of this board were taken into consideration, and on April 16th, there will be a presentation of the design. And on the next day, as Dr. Anderson said, all of the information, all the public documents that we have shared here will be in one space on the website, and it will all be released at that time. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Do we have 5 to move those forward? Okay, thank you. And then last is student services, Mrs. Stepnick.
Yes, this is a really cool project in conjunction with the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a mobile, sort of a mental health program, and it's just a confidentiality agreement with AHN because they're a partner with the Pirates. So I'm excited. I hope it works.
We have 5 to move it forward? All right. And with that, we will have upcoming public meeting, board action meeting, Tuesday, March 25th at 7 o'clock in the library. And we mentioned April 16th, the HDG presentation as well. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Abstains? Amen, hallelujah.
What?